Okay, I'm going to be talking about search engine optimization. We're going to start off with the basics, and by the end of this presentation, you'll discover what it takes to rank your web page in search engines like Google, Yahoo, and MSN. So first off, what is SEO? Well, SEO stands for search engine optimization, and basically it's the process of getting your website ranked well in the search engines like Google, MSN, and Yahoo. Now, in this presentation, I may be referring to Google a lot. What I mean when I say Google really is any search engine. I'll be referring to Google just because we primarily deal with Google since they own about 65% of searches online. So when I say Google, just remember, most of the time what I'm meaning is search engine. So SEO can be broken up into two categories. We have on-page SEO and off-page SEO. Now, what is on-page and what is off-page SEO? Basically, on-page SEO is about what you do on your page or on your website in order for Google to find your site relevant for the search query in question. So somebody types in a search, for example, fish oil, and basically what do you do to your page in order for Google to turn your website up in the page one in the top rankings when somebody types in your keyword, whatever it be that you want to rank. Okay, that's on-page SEO, what you do on your website or on your page. Off-page SEO talks about what you do off your page in order for Google or other search engines to find your site relevant for the search query in question. Okay, so on page, what you do on your page or on your website. Off page SEO is what you do off your website, off your page. You're not directly working on the site when we say off page SEO. So the on page versus off page. Now, previously, on page SEO was sufficient to get your website ranked. Previously, all you had to do is make sure your website had what we call keywords in specific places on your web page, and if you did that properly, Google would rank your site in the #1 positions. Now, however, off-page is more important to Google and search engines. So it's more important what you do off your site, not on your site. Why the change and what's the reasoning? Basically, the reasoning for Google and other search engines is that you cannot manipulate what's off your page, but you can manipulate what's on your page very easily because it's your website. You could change it as you like, but you cannot change other people's websites. Okay, so basically it's control. Google has put the emphasis on off-page SEO so that they take the control out of your hand. Because why? Because basically what was happening is we had people manipulating the search engine results and having unrelated websites turn up when people were searching for terms. Okay, so basically in order to avoid this manipulation and get better results for their customers and searchers, Google decided, and other search engines followed, but they decided to put more emphasis on the off-page factors than the on-page. So then why do we even study on-page SEO? Well, it's still important. Just because off-page is more important these days, it doesn't mean you can ignore your on-page SEO. It is insufficient by itself, but it should happen. Okay, so by itself, on-page SEO is not going to be sufficient unless, of course, your keyword or your market is has a very low competition. If you have a very low competition in your market, then on-page SEO sometimes can be sufficient. Most of the time it is insufficient, but what it does do, it reduces the amount of off-page things you need to do. And we'll discuss what we do with off-page and on-page in a minute. But basically, doing the on-page reduces the amount of off-page needed. Okay, so that's why it's very important. Okay, so it's all about keywords. Everything starts with keywords. So it's important to define what a keyword is. Basically, a keyword is a term which is typed in the search bar in Google. So it could be actually more than one word. A keyword could be a phrase. For example, if somebody's looking for fish oil capsules, if they type that in the search engine, this is a keyword, okay? Anything that's typed in to the Google search or Yahoo search or MSN search or any other search engine, that's what we call a keyword. Now, the rule is one keyword per page. So for every page you have on your website, you want to optimize that page to rank for one keyword. You do not want to optimize one page to rank for 20 keywords. This will confuse Google what this page is about, okay? And so we want to keep the one keyword per page rule. Now there are exceptions to this, but this gets into advanced SEO, which I don't want to deal with right now because it'll just confuse you. Let's get the basics down and we can leave the advanced stuff for later, okay? So for now, we will not take those exceptions and we will use the rule one keyword per page, okay? Keyword density. What is keyword density? Keyword density basically refers to how many times your keyword is mentioned on your page and how many words are on your page. So for example, if you have a 500-word article and your keyword is mentioned 5 times, that would be 0.5% keyword density. Or let's make the numbers easier. If you had a 100-word article or blog post and you mentioned your keyword in that 100-word blog post, your keyword was mentioned 2 times, that would be 2% keyword density. Previously, keyword density was very, very important. And just by virtue of keyword density and a few other things, you would rank your web page. Of course, that led to manipulation with people putting their keyword all over the place, even when it didn't make sense. So Google has downplayed keyword density. You know, it used to be, if you're reading old SEO guidelines, you know, some people would say 5% keyword density is good and all that stuff. But really, we want to ignore that today. We do want to have some keyword density, but really, it's more important to write naturally than to be very focused on your keyword density. What is more important these days, though, is what we call LSI keywords, okay? In other words, latent semantic indexing. That's what LSI stands for, latent semantic indexing. And basically, this is how it goes. Because there was manipulation, it's very easy for you, example, if you wanted to rank this page for fish oil capsules, to put fish oil capsules all over the place. What Google decided to do is not look for the word fish oil capsules so many times per page, but they decided to ask, well, what are words related to fish oil capsules? What are other words related to fish oil capsules? And they now look on your page if you have relevant, semantically relevant words to the keyword you want to rank for. So for example, what are some key latent semantic keywords around fish oil capsules? Well, maybe the American Heart Association, or essential fatty acids, okay, or side effects. So these are all keywords which are related to the fish oil capsule keyword. So now Google not only is looking for, you know, your keyword to be on your page, but they're asking the question, are there semantically related keywords on this page? Okay, so we want to make sure we have LSI keywords on the page. It will really help our ranking. Now, if you write naturally you're going to have LSI keywords on the page. But what's the best to have is the LSI keywords which Google has determined to be relevant for that keyword. For example, you may think that the keywords related to fish oil capsule may be EPA or American Heart Association or fish oil supplements, but the question is, in Google's opinion, are those the most relevant keywords to your keyword, or are there more relevant keywords? What we want to do is not only find find relevant keywords to our keyword, we want to find the most semantically relevant keywords according to Google's opinion and not our own opinion. Because if it's according to Google's opinion, our page will be ranked better in Google. And basically what on-page SEO really amounts to is, once you have your keywords, is that you position them in their proper places on your page. And that's what generally on-page SEO is all about. It's about finding your keywords and positioning them in their proper places. Now, what do I mean by positioning them in their proper places? Well, we're going to go into detail about that.